This is the cheapest flight across the United States compared to the most expensive one. It's 50 times the price, but which is the better value?
Hello, jet setters. Let's compare the most expensive ticket to the least expensive ticket across the country.
First, we had to figure out which flights to take. Delta's $3,000 ticket from New York to LA was the most expensive, and Spirit's flight from LAX to Baltimore at $59 was the cheapest. That's 1/50th the price of Delta's, which
Begins with our own private check-in area.
behind these glass doors, the most expensive trip starts inside a world unto itself complete, with snacks and drinks just in case you aren't quite ready to face security yet.
Never really needed snacks in a check-in area, but I'm not saying no.
No better way to start a trip than with an immunity shot. Ginger.
As nice as this is, it's merely the lounge before the lounge. Let's get through TSA. But first,
Time to check in for the cheapest flight. We'll use these kiosks to get started.
we paid $50 extra to check a bag and pre-select seats.
None of those perks for us today. Instead, it's just regular boarding. Well, that was fairly self-service, but pretty easy. So we got to drop off our bags and then head over to the gate, I guess. Having pre-check is kind of a premium here, so let's get through security and explore the airport.
Meanwhile,
A flight on the most expensive ticket in the country means getting access to the most exclusive lounge in the country. Let's check out the Delta One Lounge.
this lounge has it all: food, spa services, plenty of seats, and views guaranteed to get you in the mood for your trip. It's all included in the price of your ticket too, but for now,
I think it's time for lunch. We're gonna grab a bite in the restaurant. Am I gonna have something healthy or am I gonna have the burger? I think we know.
there's also a complete wine, beer, and cocktail list. And again, this is all included with the price of your ticket.
First course, the hibachi crudo. Second course, wagyu steak frite. Perfect medium.
And a burger for me, juicy.
And finally, the dessert course. This is New York cheesecake with a cherry compote.
The airport terminal is our lounge today. Let's see if we can find someplace quiet to sit. You never know who you'll find in the airport. Found a spot. Now I need a charger though. There's one over there. Doesn't work. I guess the chairs need to be plugged in too. Find another one somewhere.
Plugs and seats aren't a problem if you're flying the most expensive ticket, though.
Here in the lounge, I found a seat here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. There's even an art gallery. Me espresso. There's even a fireplace. Gosh, this thing has it all, including Wi-Fi, which Suzanne is using right now. Cheers.
I couldn't get a slot for a massage, so I did the next best thing and signed up for 15 minutes in this chair. And if you look carefully, you may be able to find something similar when you're on the cheapest flight, too.
Was able to find a massage chair here in the airport. You do have to pay for it though. Costs $1. On the cheapest flight across the USA, nothing is included. Everything's extra. To save a couple bucks, I'm gonna refill my water bottle here.
Womp womp.
It's kind of an average airport experience today. I wouldn't say this is the best terminal. I wouldn't say it's the worst. It's somewhere in the middle. Had to wait in line for the bathroom. Everything seems pretty crowded. But it's just kind of the travel experience nowadays, really.
Found a pretty good spot to sit right here. I think we'll just sit back, relax, and watch the world go by. If you're planning to grab a bite to eat in the airport before your flight, give yourself plenty of time because looks like a long wait pretty much at all the restaurants here. So I think we'll grab something to take with us onto the plane instead. Lunch for two, $50. That costs $50. We'll have to wait till we're on board to find out if it was worth it, but $50?
Meanwhile, back on that most expensive ticket, it's time to head to the gate.
So what are we doing on Spirit?
That's gotta be one of the world's best airline lounges, but for now, let's get on board and check out this crazy expensive seat.
Of course, if you pay top dollar, you'll be on board first if that's your thing. We were invited to board with Group 1. Always nice to stroll down the jet bridge, get settled in, and ensure space for carry-on bags.
We've got the golden ticket on this flight.
Not tomorrow.
Things aren't always as smooth with the cheapest ticket. I double-checked the size of my carry-on bag to make sure it would fit, and then we found a place to sit.
We're in group 4 out of 5, so we'll just sit here and wait until it's boarding time.
If you've watched some of our other videos, you might think we're always in business class, always in fancy lounges, but really this is how we usually fly when we're not filming.
It's been a lot of fun to hang out here at LAX, but now it's time to check out what it's like on the cheapest seat across the country. Group 4, here we go. It's a pretty smooth boarding process, huh?
Stepping onto the plane that cost 50 times more than the other was, well, a bit of a letdown. This old, tired cabin didn't match the premium promise of the most expensive price tag across the country.
For top dollar, you might expect something a little nicer. I mean, if you're flying on American or United, you'll get a better seat. This is pretty exposed, pretty open. It's not the best thing in the sky. It's not even the best thing in Delta's fleet, but this is one of the most expensive tickets you can book on the airline.
But for all that expense, you will find this box filled with surprises. There are also blankets, pillows, and even slippers, and we'll check all of that out in a bit.
Just a little welcome on board bubbly.
Onboard Delta Airline Flight 738, service out to Los Angeles International Airport. We are about 15 minutes away from our scheduled departure time, but we are expecting to push back from the gate here just a few minutes early.
Despite being a 34-year-old airplane, that's a smooth transition to the sky. But what's happening back on the cheapest flight? Well, this cabin is a lot newer. The interior may be bare bones, but the plane is only 1 year old.
Here on the cheapest flight across the country, you won't find any amenities at your seat, so instead, bring your own. It's time for the greener grass tape measure. 29 inches, 9 inches, 18 inches wide. And given these are some of the skinniest seats we've ever seen anywhere, we're going to add a new measurement. How skinny is the seat? 2 inches. It's fairly well padded, but I'll let you know for sure in about 4 hours. I'm booked into seat 19A, Suzanne's in 19C, and we're hoping that 19B remains open for this flight. Time will tell. It's hard to demonstrate this on camera, but the tray table is on an angle. I usually say these are sturdy. This is not sturdy. It's actually sort of angled down and to the right. And the middle one is filthy. Ugh.
Once we get airborne, it's going to be a 4-hour and 46-minute flight.
Boarding's complete, and we've got this empty seat next to us. That should make this trip a lot more pleasant.
Or would it? Back on board the most expensive flight, it's time to explore everything you'll get for all that money.
The seat even has a TV screen.
There are plenty of movies to choose from, and free Wi-Fi was also available. But let's take a look at the amenity kit.
The tray table is sturdy, and you get all these goodies. Let's take a look inside. Socks, eye shade, lotions and potions, and earplugs, and a toothbrush. Let's be honest, for top dollar, you'd expect a little bit of a better seat. This one doesn't even fully work. I can't get the light to turn on above, so it's pretty dark. That said, it's hard to complain about a fully lie-flat seat.
Delta has newer planes with better seats like these, but airplanes like this A350 are usually deployed on longer, international routes. And that's too bad, since New York to LA is such a competitive city pair.
Time to watch a movie.
We were settling into the cheapest flight as we made our way back across the country.
We crossed over 10,000 feet, so I pulled out the tray table, brought out my iPad. Just because there's no seatback entertainment doesn't mean that you can't bring your own. So always pack a book or an iPad with some content downloaded to pass the time on a flight like this. Of course, there's always something to see out the window. I will say, unfortunately, because this tray table is kind of like leaning, I have to support it with my knee, so that's a little awkward. It's not the end of the world. Spirit claims to have the fastest Wi-Fi in the sky, and you could purchase it for $17 for the slower speed, or $20 for the higher speed of this flight. I'm testing it out myself, and it seems to be reasonably fast. Not really anything to write home about, to be honest, but at least it's available. The other nice thing about flight on Spirit is we don't have to wait for the flight attendants to provide a service because, well, we brought our own lunch. Service begins with a hot towel. Always a treat.
It's possible to pre-order food, but we decided to choose on board.
Nothing quite like a gin and tonic, warm nuts, and a movie. This is the life. Time for dinner. Suzanne ordered the vegetable lasagna, which from here just looks big. We'll have to wait for her report. And I'm having the beef short rib, which looks really nice. There were no menus available. We're having a 3-course meal on this flight. The appetizer looks delicious. There's a salad and a main course. This is a massive amount of food. No doubt about that.
There was dessert too. The strawberry panna cotta caught Suzanne's eye, but I was done. On the cheapest flight, we served ourselves and skipped the hot towels.
Our first course today is a chicken burrito bowl. It's our only course so far, so we might have to pick up something else from the snack cart when it comes around.
These two lunches cost $50. That's almost as much as the seat.
To be honest, I like the taste of that a lot better than some business class meals. Splurged an extra $1 for guac. It's not the best. It's that pre-made packaged kind.
A lot of families. A lot of families.
The snack and drink cart just came by, so we got some Pringles as a second course. These were $5.50, and I grabbed a Diet Coke, $4.50.
But what's happening back on board the most expensive flight?
In general, airlines reserve their newest planes for international routes. So if you're crossing the country and expecting something spectacular, you may not get it. For example, this plane is 34 years old. The seat turns into a bed. You get a comfy blanket and pillow to use when you're on board. Now, I will say this, it's a little tight. This is what Delta's offering on the most expensive ticket across the country.
But you better not expect to lie flat on the cheapest flight.
The seat is pre-reclined for your comfort, and I brought my own accessories. It's a great nap.
Before long, I really did pass out. And then we were on the ground.
Is business class worth 50 times the price of this seat? Absolutely not. It's also incredible to realize you can fly across the country for $59. Between now and the next time, see you in the sky. I don't mind taking on some of the labor to save cost, but I'm not very good at this. It's always hard to line up the sticky part. Nailed it.
No, you'd be like off. I don't know if you can do this or not, but anyway, you'd be off. It's a Spirit Airlines uniform.
Let's compare the most expensive seat in the country across the country. Is it across? Let's compare the most expensive. Hello, jet setters. Let's compare the most. I wonder what I'm going to have tomorrow before. Spirit claims to have the fastest Wi-Fi in the sky, and at
Really worried about spillage on these white shirts.